Let's see if anybody joins me today. Just finishing this heel that I started last weekend. So these are toe-up socks, but I've chosen to do a traditional heel with a gusset, which is kind of funky to knit toe up, but I've made it happen. And this is an SSK. And I'll turn and show you what I'm doing here. So there's the heel. So now I'm knitting the bit that goes up the back of the foot and slowly eating away at these stitches. And then I'll just bee up the leg. I actually realized after I was halfway done with it that I probably would have been better off doing like an afterthought heel or a fish lips heel, because this is self-striping. You know, and around the heel, the stripes are going to get kind of messed up and the width will change. So I reserve the right if it looks bad. It's looking okay, but if it looks bad, I might end up frogging it and doing the fish lips anyway. But I kind of wanted to see what it would look like first. Okay, and then we'll like purl two together, turn. So this wool is Zauberball. If you haven't used it before, I think Zauberball is German, isn't it? Magic ball. But yeah, it's self-stripping. And so on the heel here, on the right side of the heel, I'm doing slip stitches. So I'm knitting one, slipping one, knitting one, slipping one. And that's why you can see the heel has that appearance where there's some of the knit stitches sit up higher than the others. It makes it thicker, and the idea is it'll last longer. Be slightly more harder wearing. So slip stitch heel is a nice thing to do on the heel of a sock since things tend to wear out there. You can also do, so I'm slipping the same stitches every time, but if you alternate it, you get a pattern that's known as Eye of Partridge. It's another type of heel. And if you have someone who really destroys their sock heels, you could also, on the heel, hold a nylon thread with the wool to give it sort of extra reinforcement. I've never bothered to do that. My husband tends to wear out his socks at the toe rather than the heel. But he just wants these to wear around the house anyway. So I started doing this last Saturday, and I wanted to continue on Sunday. But if you were watching last Saturday, you would know that we had received my husband and I received our corona vaccinations, our first ones that day. We got the AstraZeneca, the first shot, and felt great immediately after. But by that night, by the time we went to bed, both running fevers, I think, and I spent most of Sunday because I didn't sleep very well Saturday. My arm was very sore, um, and spent most of Sunday napping, just resting and getting better. Feel completely recovered. Like, within 48 hours was pretty much back to normal, but the soreness in my arm literally only, it's pretty much gone. Took about a week for that to go away. Nearly done. Okay, turn. 3 left on that side. Getting there. I think I've got one extra stitch than the, hello Kethrak, how are you? I think I've got one extra stitch than the pattern called for, so that's why I've got one extra stitch on one side of the heel. I was gonna say, is it evening yet? I guess it's 5:30 in Munich. Doesn't feel like evening. It doesn't get dark here until like 10 p.m. Yeah, well, I'm well too. Yeah, I was saying, last weekend missed my normally Sunday knitting because I was recovering from my COVID shot, but feeling much better this weekend. Today's nice out. Yesterday was nice out. Went for long bike rides both days. Came back today and then met my husband at the beer garden because the outdoor dining is now open. So we had lunch in the beer garden. So actually, life's looking up compared to where it was, a month or two ago. Even starting to think about planning some day trips. Yeah, it is an awesome weekend. Thank you. How about you? Where are you? Of course, each row gets longer by one stitch. Oh, you're in Nuremberg. Nice. Nuremberg is one of the places we're thinking about a day trip. Because it's only like an hour and a bit from Munich on the train. So we were literally thinking about next week, because next weekend is a long weekend. We've got Thursday public holiday, and Friday is this brilliant German concept I learned called the Brückentag, the bridge day. Because it's the day between the public holiday and the weekend, so you can take it off to get a long weekend. So we're both going to do that. So we're thinking about Nuremberg. What are things like in Nuremberg at the moment? Are restaurants and museums open with appointment? I'm guessing that's how it is here. Basically, want to know if we go there for the day, is there going to be anything to do? Are there any good wool shops, more importantly? Oh, you don't know? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'll have to do some research. Also thinking about going to Salzburg. That's not too far either. Can go to restaurants as long as you eat outside. Yeah, that's the way it is here. So then you just have to hope it's not raining. Oh, you don't live in Nuremberg directly. Okay. I think the numbers across a lot of Bavaria are trending in the right direction. Yes, definitely, fortunately. I think we still need a Schnell test in order to stay in if we want to stay the night in a hotel. We'll have to get a test before we go. We're thinking about Neuschwanstein because I've never been and I know it's super touristy, but it seems like it would be good to go now while it's not touristy and before the tourist season kicks in. So we were looking today, you've got to buy tickets. We might try and go middle of the month, middle of June. Salzburg, really beautiful, and I think you have no restrictions if you have first. Oh, that would be good. That's good to know. I think Austria in general's opened up a little bit more than we have here. I have some friends in Vienna, but Vienna's a little bit further away. They rely on tourists, so they take more risks. Yeah. Now, how many stitches around am I trying to get to here? 38 on each side. Okay, we're all used up on that side. Let's count while I go here. I've got 41. How did I end up with 41 stitches left? Right. Because I did the gusset. I mean, it's fine. I don't particularly care. So there, we've got a toe up, turned heel. So 41 on the back side. Yeah. Not sure. Math is hard. I could go back and look at what I did. At least I've got, I've got a record now. I've got previous videos. I can go back and see what the hell I did when I cast on. All right, well, heels knitted, so able to join back up for the going in the round. So 41. So I'm going to need to decrease one of those stitches anyway, because I need a multiple of 4 for this pattern. I'll go ahead and do my decrease here at the start of this next stitch. The heel round. Do it on the plain round. I got 38 on the front needle and 40 on the back needle. That's all right. Wait. That's not divisible by 4. Like, wait a minute. No, that's not divisible by 4. I need to lose 2 more stitches. That's what I'll do. I'll keep doing decreases to get myself down to the right number. Had a coffee an hour ago. Caffeine must not have quite kicked in yet. Brain's a bit fuzzy. Hang on a second. No, I don't want to hang on. I want to go back. I want to frog back. I want my decreases to look like the heel flap continuing up, which it's not going to do the way I've just done it. Tink, tink, tink. I want to get back to the original 38 and 38. Because 76 is divisible by 4. And my little broken rib pattern is a 4-stitch repeat. Undo that decrease. Okay, what I'm going to do instead is I need to go back 1 stitch. Actually, what I really want to do is transfer that last stitch on the first needle onto the second needle. Trust me, in my head, this all makes a lot of sense. There we go. Okay. Oops. All right. Now that's the stitch I want to do the decrease on. Yes. There we go. I'm thinking the other thing I need to do as I start working my way up the leg is I need to get the kitchen scales and weigh this ball, because I need to know when I should start knitting the other sock. Okay, I'm going to stop 1 before I get to the end, and then I'm going to pull that loop out right there. I'm going to knit those 2 together. That's going to be my other decrease. This one's the SSK. Okay. And now I'm back to doing my actual pattern here. Should be a knit. Tighten that up so I don't get a ladder. I'm doing a knit 2, purl 2, rib every other row, but I'm shifting it each time I do it. I think I need to do one more decrease here. There's 36 on that side now. How many got on this side? I've got 76. I've got the right number. Total. That's what I wanted. Let me just go ahead and move one more stitch and get them even, the two. Two sides. Okay, those two were knits. So I'm starting with pearls on this side. Split that hole. Magic moment of truth, that last stitch will go on the front needle, and theoretically I should now be back at the right number. It's a knit. Yes it is. Yeah, math. Got there in the end. All right, so it does, you do end up with some, you can tell the stripes get thinner as I go up the ankle. But that's kind of okay. I don't think it looks bad. Let me just try this on my foot, actually. Okay, it's quite roomy. It's quite a roomy sock. but he likes them roomy. Good. Okay, let me untwist this. Wool gets very twisty. Which way do you want to spin? You want to spin that way. Okay. Do a few more rows and then I'll switch over to my cabled vest. This is a plain row, just knitting. All right. I think that's enough on the sock for today. There we go. So a gusset, the triangle bit there, that's the gusset. So I started increasing, and that's the line of increases you see, making the diagonal line there for the gusset. Then once we'd made the gusset, I then turned the heel back and forth on just a small number of stitches, using short rows, wrap and turn. Then once we had that, I then knitted up the heel flap, eating up extra stitches here to create the bit along the side of the heel flap. Traditional gusseted heel, knitted toe up, fun. All right, done with you for a little bit, Mr. Sock. Let's switch to Dr. G's memory vest. I'm about to start a new ball on this, actually. I need to measure it because that's the thing. I think I was going for 15 inches until I split for the neck. I don't think I'm anywhere close to that yet, but I'll just double check. And about 12. A few more inches to go before I divide for the armholes, rather. Divide for the armholes. Okay, where's my pattern for that? There it is. So this is Dr. G's memory vest. So this is a pattern. It's on Ravelry under that name if you look it up. The pattern was designed by a woman named, it's Kirsten Kapur. And it's called Dr. G's memory vest because it's in memory of Dr. G, who suffered from Alzheimer's. And so if you donate to Alzheimer's research, you get the pattern. Oh, thicker wool feels so nice after fighting with socks. All right, the last row was a cable row, so that means this is a plain row. So each of the motifs is separated by a column of twisted knit stitches. So these skinny stocking stitch there. So I'm about to do one here. So it's a twisted knit. So instead of knitting it through the front of the stitch as we normally would, actually knit through the back of the stitch, which twists it. And it just sort of makes it stand up a little bit more. It's a decorative effect. It's literally twisting the base of the stitch. Okay, now I'm on the center motif, which I refer to as the tree. As you can see here, it looks like a bit of a Christmas tree. But as I said, this is a even numbered row, so I just knit the knits and purl the purls. Only cable every other row on this pattern. That's actually the case with most cable patterns. Very, it's a complex cable when they've got you cabling every row. Or every round, rather. Oops. Missed my twisted stitch. That was my twisted stitch. So the yarn I'm using is Joe Sharp Silk Road DK Tweed. It's I brought it from Australia. Actually, I bought it in like a D stash. Someone in my knitting guild was selling it off. It's a packet of it. It's 85% wool, 10% silk, 5% cashmere. The color is called butternut. I don't think it's quite orange enough to be a butternut. I think of it as like a cookie, sort of a biscuity color. It's very soft. As I'm knitting it for someone who finds a lot of wool itchy. It does have little bits of vegetable matter in it though, like every now and then I can sort of feel one with my fingers. There's one there. I don't know what it is, some artifact from spinning. Oops. Twisted stitch. It's still there. Okay, the yellow marker means I'm halfway around. I'm at the side seam. We went to the beer garden today for lunch, and there were a bunch of old men dressed in full on, you know, Bayerische Trachte, I guess. The lederhosen, hats, you know, calf warmers, the full kit. And honestly, I was just staring at their socks and calf warmers the whole time because they were beautifully hand knit. I've noticed some of the calf warmers are, you know, quite short, like sort of a hand span width. Others were quite tall, basically like a sock, like a full knee sock, but just with the foot cut off. Like, so they were about double the length of the nose, so cover the whole shin. And there was this bloke there who was wearing like that, and they had, I guess it was Fair Isle. It could have been embroidery, all up and down the sock. And then I'm fairly certain I could even see it had some beads, some beading around the top, heavily sort of embellished. And then there was another guy who had full knee socks, with this sort of really cool, sort of bobbly pattern, sort of diamonds with a bobble in the center knitted in. And honestly, I was very tempted to go over and ask them if I could take photographs of their knitwear, but I decided to not be that weirdo today. But another guy was wearing a beautiful cable knit button-up vest on top of his, and it's really lovely to see. I'm gonna have to figure out. I'll go on Ravelry and look, or find the local Bavarian knitting group on Ravelry and try and find some traditional patterns so I can knit some for Rod. Okay, blue means I'm back to the start of the round. Let's move my stitch marker. Okay. All right, so this round will have some cables on it. How excitement. So these rope, the first motif you come to, my twisted stitch, is this sort of cable rope motif, a traditional 4-stitch twist, 2 of them sort of twisting in mirrored directions. They only cross every 4 rows, so this is not the row for them. So I'm just gonna knit them. No cable for them yet. So there's a purl stitch in the middle between them. Twisted stitch. The next motif is the one I call the ladder. That's this one up the middle here. Again, it only has a rung every 4 rows, so I will just knit across it here, these 5 stitches. Then a purl, and then my twist, the sort of borders between each motif. Then I got another of the cable rope. It's just plain. Twisted stitch. And then that brings us to the central motif, which is the tree, as I call it, the tree. And so as you can see, there are 2 branches that sort of converge on the trunk. That's what happens over the course of this pattern. So when I get to these branches, each one of them is a 1-stitch cable that effectively moves into the center 1 stitch each time. So the background is reverse stocking stitch, so purl, purl, purl. Okay, here I am at the first branch. So I've got a knit stitch there next on the needle. So I need to move it 1 stitch to the left. So if I were reading the pattern instructions, they would tell me to slip the next stitch to a cable needle, hold at the front, purl the next stitch, and then knit the stitch off the cable needle. Bugger that, we're not doing that. Instead, I'm going to be cabling without a cable needle. So I'm going to put my tip of my needle into the second stitch from the back, just to secure it. I'm going to slide them both off the needle. I'm going to put the left tip through the knit, and then put the purl back on. So all I've done is I've rearranged those 2 stitches. So now I can, that should be a purl. So I can do the purl stitch, and then I can do the knit stitch. Because that's all cabling is. It's rearranging the stitches before you knit them. And you can use a cable needle for that, but I just find them too fiddly and stupid. All right then. That's 2 pearls. And now the trunk is a slip stitch on the cable row. So all I'm going to do is slip it as if to purl. That's why it stands out a little bit. Okay, and now here's the other branch. And so this branch, I need to cross over this purl stitch, these 2 stitches. So instead I'm going to, from the front, grab the branch, the tip of my needle, slide them both off, and rearrange. And then I'm ready to knit the knit and purl the purl. And there you can see what we've done is those branches are now 1 stitch closer to the central trunk. I know they look a little bit stretched out at the moment. This thing will get a good washing and blocking before it's done. Okay, thus endeth the excitement of the cable row. So the ladder and the rope cables are 4-row repeats. But the tree is a 10-row repeat. Yes. It's 20, yeah, 10. So you got to keep track of where you are in the pattern. Okay, I'm back to the central motif. So I got to do that 1 stitch cable here again. It's not even really a cable, it's I guess a traveling stitch you'd call it. Slip the trunk up the middle. Now Now for the other branch. What is the song? I don't care for the song. No. Okay, back to the blue means I've completed one round. Okay. All right, next round is a plain round. I knit the knits and unpurl the pearls. Okay, halfway around. Probably call it a day soon. I'm pretty tired from my cycling. Oops, did one too many. Maybe I'll just finish this round. I gotta need a little nap. Need to do my German homework too. Must remember to do that. Started a German course. Been here for 9 months, but because of lockdown, have not gotten to talk to very many people. So discovered that through work I can expense a German course. So started a Berlitz course, and need to do my homework for tomorrow's lesson. I'll do one more round after this so you can see a full cable round. That'll probably take me 20 minutes to do. The full cable round's quite involved. Okay, there's the blue. Blue means round complete. Back at the side seam. All right, move my stitch marker. All right, and now we'll do a cable row. So this is a row we'll have all the cables on it. Okay, so we'll be crossing the rope cables, we'll be having a twist. The ladder here, I'll make a new rung. I'll have to twist these two cables again. I'll have to do the cables on the central tree motif. Lots and lots of cables on this row. Okay, here we go. This bit of the underarm bit is just stocking stitch, just plain knitting. Okay, and there are 2 purls just to start off the pattern section. Right, then every motif, as we discussed, has a twisted knit stitch. This is border. Okay, then a purl. All right, I'm at the first rope cable. So this is a 4-stitch cable. It's just a sort of twisted rope thing. So you can see these next 4 stitches are the 4 stitches that'll make up the cable. So I'm going to be cabling without a cable needle. So I'm going to use my tip of my right needle to get the stitches that need to cross, and then I'm going to slide them off, rearrange them, and then knit them. Okay, there's my 4 knits. Then I need to do a purl in the middle. And then I need to cross the next 4 the other direction. Grab these 2 from the back, slide them off, rearrange, and knit. Purl, and then the twisted knit stitch as the border. There, both of those cables have now been crossed. Okay, now I'm at the ladder. So for the ladder motif, I'm just going to purl straight across. Just to create the sort of rung of the ladder. Okay. Now, more cables to twist. Okay, both of those crossed. I'm at the central tree motif. So again, this is where the branch here needs to move 1 stitch towards the middle. The central tree trunk is a slipped stitch. More cables to cross. Cross this one. My husband shut the door. Oh, maybe it's just the breeze. Thought it was him shutting the door. ladder, so I just purl across that. He's baking bread, but I keep thinking I'm smelling something burning. I think it's just the smell of the oven turned up hot. Just the oven making smoke. Great. All right, halfway around. I told you the cable rounds take a long time. Constantly switching between knits and purls and cables. There's another bit of vegetable matter there. Like a little stick or something. Okay, crossing another cable. Purl across the ladder. More cables. Okay, I need to cross the branch cable here. Slip the trunk. Branch. matter. Okay, round finished. Cable round finished. I think I'm going to cut it there. Stop there for the night. I'm nearly ready to join in a new ball of wool. And how much did I add on? That's what I do, like 4 rows there. Yeah, barely anything. Still got a few more inches to go before I divide for the armholes. All right, I'm going to stop there for the day. I'm going to do my German homework and a bunch of other stuff on Sunday night here. Thanks for joining me. It was lovely to be knitting with you, hopefully. I don't know if my friend in Nuremberg is still listening, but hoping to get there soon for a visit. So hope you have a great week. See ya.